Ooh, what's up, guys? Luca here. Lucatio, yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here for another episode of the show. First things first. Wait. What is it? First things first. I'm the realist. Is that how it goes? Might be out of your generation. Slow. Sorry. What about? Might be a cultural difference. Singer. Sorry. But shout out to Amon for becoming a member of the channel. Shout out to you, my boy. Appreciate it. Sending lots of love. Let me check my audio. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Slow-mo, thank you for being here on the show.
Yo, what up? What's up, Singer? What's up, Luca? What's up, chat?
All right, and Singer?
What up, Luca? What up, Slomo? What up, chat?
All right,
It's a
what's up, Blade
glorious
X?
week.
Blade X, okay, you said you had a good mic, right? Do you want to come on? What's up, This Pain? What's up, Crow, buddy? What's up, Brisky, Leaky, Nola? Once again, what's up, Iman? No, it was my fault. We were late, guys. I was doing some last minute stuff, right? So
People gotta blame me as usual. It's okay.
yeah. All right. What's up, Death Boy? What's up, Hurricane? What's up, babies? How y'all doing this fine and wonderful evening? Okay, am I tripping? Is there like a feedback sound?
I don't hear anything.
Did Singer
No?
cut out for you too? Slow?
No. Well, I didn't hear Singer say anything.
He started talking.
He did?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, Singer, my mic is like bouncing off whatever you're doing with your audio. Because I see when you start talking, I don't know how to explain it. Oh, there it is. Sometimes when I'm talking, it'll like your thing will like light up. You know what I'm saying? Like your icon. You know that how it goes when someone's talking, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have the stream playing in the background or something? Singer? And is loud or
No.
something like that?
No, it should be. Let me check. Audio. Let me listen.
Was that him or me?
Hello.
That was definitely him because I ain't hear nothing he just said.
Seems good on my end.
And do you hear him cutting out?
Yeah, you're cutting out, bro.
All right, what's up, Meat Puppet? Shout out to you for being a member for 34 months. Shout out to you. Yeah, Singer, check your like headphone audio. check your output, your inputs, man. I don't know what's going on. All right, Blade X, can you DM me? DM me on Twitter, and then I'll send you the link. Okay. All right, so Factions 2 got canceled. All right. So I think that this is a particularly interesting timing because there's been a conversation going back and forth in the community from what I've seen, the little I've seen, in which people are, they're talking about the new Blade game. You know what I'm saying? The new Blade game, which is something we will also discuss for tonight. But what's up, Nautical?
What it do? Just literally got through eating some food before I came on this illustrious show with you amazing people.
Nice.
So I appreciate it. But yeah, we here, so let's get this going.
Sweet. Okay. What's up, John the Don? What's up? Okay, so yeah, so basically what had happened is that people were comparing the concept art because they released some concept art for Blade, the new Blade game coming out from was it Arcane Leon. So they announced that, and they were showing off some of the pictures for the concept art, which I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good myself. Of course, it's concept art, so how far is that going to go, right? But there were some comparisons between the Factions 2 concept art and the Blade concept art, and then like that same night. Naughty Dog came through with some news about their a little update on The Last of Us 2 multiplayer. It's been scrapped. It's been canceled after years of development. I'm talking years of development. So we're going to go ahead and discuss a little bit of that update. First things first, we're gonna go ahead and read what they said themselves. So an update on The Last of Us Online. So we realize many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on the game. Now, before I continue forward, the thing of it is, right? They had to have known this was coming. Like, this isn't just like some out of the blue 1 month. They're like, you know what? Actually, we're just not going to do this shit anymore. A couple months ago, we had somebody who is allegedly working on The Last of Us Online factions too, saying, "Let us cook. We're cooking. What are you cooking? You're cooking air, man. You're whatever you're cooking ended up burning the kitchen
water.
down. Okay,
Literally
boiling the water. Turn that joint off and let it cool off, man.
We knew this months ago, but there was only a select few that held out like some hope that this was actually still going to be a thing. Like when you're working on a live service game and the guy that you hired from Fortnite to do your monetization leaves before the game even launches, like that's all the red flags. When people saw that, it was like, hello, like it's a wrap. Like he's leaving because there's nothing for him to do, because there's no game to be developed for. And it's just clearly like this is something that they have had made the decision on well before this week, but waited till now to let everyone know. So
yeah. Hope is for wishes and rainbows.
And this statement is whack. Can we talk about the fact? Can we talk about the fact that they they didn't allow no one to comment on like they don't know how Twitter works. Oh, we ain't gonna allow no one to reply to this tweet. Like the quote retweet that could be going in on you anyway. Like, come on now.
It was already spooky when they put like they didn't just post the response on Twitter. They post a link to the blog on Twitter. You know, think about it. When it's something that they were super excited, like think about when Asamiak, like perfect example, Asamiak posted on Twitter an actual screenshot of the post about the update that's coming early, or I think it's in 2024. They posted the actual quote itself, the whole blog. PlayStation was like, listen, yo, this is gonna be bad. So we just gonna just link people to the article, and you have to see it by you have to get off Twitter to see it. And then Luca made me laugh when I saw her comments, said, oh man, not disabling the comment section. Yo, listen, it was bad. They already knew what was gonna happen though. That's why. They knew this was they knew the fallback from this. Shout out to Luca, and that's I laughed when I saw that. It was funny. It's spooky though, man. It's real spooky. But like I said, hope is for wishes and rainbows. Everybody knew that this was going to happen, and you were as you were reading that, like, and I know, I mean, you want to finish reading it, but there is like I was talking to Slomo about this on DPS. There is a distinct part of this statement where Naughty Dog was like, yo, we got a banger on our hands. This game is amazing. We can't wait to get this into people's hands so they can see it and show it off. And then the realization of a third party coming into their studio, telling them their game wasn't good enough. And then overall it set in, and they were like, man, we didn't know that it was going to be this much work to do it. And that's where this decision was made. And
how do you not know that though?
But that's the thing that confuses me about the whole situation.
When you started to add all these new features and rescope the game to be this larger thing that nobody asked for.
Nobody asked for, exactly.
The people who love Factions 1 wanted an updated version of that. They wanted The Last of Us Part 2 combat with new maps and weapons and the same game design and format. Is that a live service game? No. But that's what they wanted, and that's all they wanted for The Last of Us Part 2. What you ended up doing is telling them, no, we know better. We're going to do something. You say you don't want this, but when we deliver it to you, oh no, you're going to love it. we're going to make these huge, humongous, massive maps. We're going to do all this other innovative and extra stuff. It's going to be storytelling going on in it. It's going to be everything that you didn't ask for, but we're going to deliver to you anyway. Let us cook. And then people are just like, okay, all right, if you say so, cool. Let's wait on that. So people accepted that The Last of Us Part 2 didn't have multiplayer. People accepted that the Last of Us Part 1 remake didn't have multiplayer. And then people accepted, have already chosen to accept that the remaster for The Last of Us Part 2 that only came out 3 years ago is also not going to have multiplayer. Only for you to come out and say, yeah, well, we was cooking, you ain't never going to play. You're never going to eat that because we canceled it. It probably will end up being like, when they come out with The Last of Us Part 3, however many years from now, when they finally come out with that will probably have multiplayer, I guess, and a version of what they were working on put into that. But this is a massive L. It's a massive L for Naughty Dog because they wasted time, money, and resources, and the time of the players, 4 years at least, working on something that you never released, getting people's hopes up for stuff that you never delivered on.
Part of me wonders if, so this was announced. They announced that they were working on a multiplayer suite in 2018. Part of me wonders, seeing the success of all of these other games over the course of 2020, 2021, because that's when it really kind of blew up with gaming. And people that weren't playing games in like forever started playing games and stuff. And there was just a huge boom in gaming. Part of me wonders, like, did the ambition come from the fact that they saw how other studios were benefiting from all of that stuff? Because that's about the time that they talked about the ambition of the game becoming bigger than they actually thought it was going to be. And it turned from being a it came from being part of what they were going to do with The Last of Us Part 2 into its own standalone offering. So it is an L. I you can't deny that it's an L because they wasted time. I really don't want to be that as hard on them to be like, like, yo, I'm glad that you took the shot to do it. I just think sometimes ambition gets away of progress. I think that's the thing that kind of needs to be, talked about the most, because sometimes, just because, like, one of the bigger sayings is, even if you can do it, should you do it? Like, nobody wanted this. Like, nobody was asking for it. But I'm not going to be mad at them for going out and seeing what the landscape started looking like. Games like Division, Fortnite started blowing up, Apex Legends. They kind of saw like the renaissance of this brand new genre games as a service start like really, really hitting a huge stride at this point. And I think they wanted to be a part of that. The problem is, they never done that before. So that's where kind of I need to sit back and really evaluate, is my studio ready for the type of haul that this is going to take? You got a whole bunch of different studios out there that have these same issues. Epic had over 1,500 people working on Fortnite. And guess what? The only game they're making is Fortnite. Bungie's got 1,200 people before they laid off. Now they're down to 1,100. That used to be a 700-man studio when Destiny 1 came out, and it ballooned to over 1,200 with Destiny 2. And that's not even counting all of the support studios they had helping them along the way from Activision. So you kind of just got to think like, okay, are we equipped to do this? And I give more of the L to Sony, because they are the ones that mandated. Like, yes, I think they wanted to do this game. Everybody wanted it. But I think the push for Sony back in, 2021, 2020, whenever the heck they started talking about games as a service and having these live game pushes and stuff and wanting the developers to start doing
this. They made this decision in 2019.
Yeah, so they made it. So
it was leaked out in 2019 that they were splitting the multiplayer away to be its own thing out of The Last of Us Part 2. They didn't announce that. That was leaked.
It was leaked.
So
Right.
this decision, now I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, because they could have made the decision to go in on live service and games as a service games back in 2019 as well. Maybe we just didn't know it. But this decision was made a while ago by Naughty
It was
Dog.
definitely a while ago, but they should have. That's what I'm saying. 4 years of development on this game, knowing what it's like, how did you not know what it takes to make a game like this? Like, it's like they were shocked. It's like
it's not,
yeah. Like, what do you mean?
We just realized, this is going to be a lot more to maintain it. It's not the making of it. It's the maintaining it. It's supporting it after post-launch, which, look, I understand for certain games like Destiny, looter shooters, games that have a huge story-based, expansion-based content to it, and maybe that's what Factions 2 was supposed to be. Maybe it was supposed to have expansions on an annual basis or something like that, instead of being like, say, like Apex Legends, which is they have seasonal content, battle passes, new skins, new characters developed. But as you see with Respawn Entertainment, they have 2 separate studios. One studio that does Apex Legends, the other studio does the Jedi games. So
yeah, so they really have to like split them up when it comes to this stuff, which is, again, I do hold to Nautical's point, like, what did they like? How could they not realize that this was going to take a lot of time and energy and maintenance? And I'm going to be honest with you, I think that part of the reason why it's even at the point where they're like, okay, yeah, we're just going to give up on this, is because Sony is scaling back on their live service aspect, and they're just like, you guys can just go ahead and just let it go. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. And let me just
sorry, go ahead, boo.
Yeah, so it's perfectly fine if you guys want to just go ahead and cancel this. It's kind of like they had them floundering, which is, I watched Persona's video today, and he was like, they have experience making multiplayer games, but a live service game is just a completely different animal in itself, and they just weren't equipped for that. And honestly speaking, considering how The Last of Us Part 2 looks and how it plays, I can understand the concept of ambition getting the best of them and them wanting to do more than what was in their wheelhouse. Like, there's a reason why so many live service games fail and only a select few are still at the top. And a lot of it is because the primary focus is on that live service game. And Naughty Dog is a single player studio, and that's their bread and butter. They are there to have technical showcases with their gameplay and mechanics, and to have beautiful games, and to tell stories. I don't know if the stories are good. Some good stories, you know what I'm saying? Some great stories, okay? Some stories that are controversial, you know what I'm saying? So, great characters, that kind of thing. So, I just think that this entire situation, it could have just been avoided if they had just done the simple multiplayer. And honestly speaking, I just got to give a shout out to Jack Move, because Jack has been the main one consistently criticizing PlayStation and Sony. Stop calling himself the pony commissioner. You know what I'm saying? And it's gotten to this point where it's just like, he is always the one who notes and notices the bullshit and calls it out, and it's just like, this is fucking ridiculous. And he's been saying it for a very long time now. And his anger is justifiable, honestly speaking. I think I agree. Jack is probably one of the funniest people in this community, so I always enjoy hearing.
I agree with that too.
When it comes to this stuff. What's up, Blade?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up?
Blade, what's up, bro?
I'm just chilling, guys.
All right, so what kind of mic do you have?
Right now, a shitty mic.
All right, I need you to I thought you said you had a good mic.
Yo, I wasn't prepared for today.
Last week, or in my comment section, one or the other, I saw you in my comments, or I saw you in my replies last week saying, all right, Luca, it's me, tag me in. You need someone. I'm just like, okay. So I'm gonna give you another week to prepare. All right.
Yeah, another week would be good.
So, you could stay if you'd like. Or you can go. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. But if everybody could just mute themselves when they're not speaking, that'd be great.
The one thing I do want to say, and shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the people on Twitter, and I'm a Rich Swag Lord. He said it too. He said, how can this be Sony's fault when Bungie was the one that looked at the game? And that's kind of been going around a lot. And I'm like, well, Sony's the one that hired Bungie.
I mean, like, yeah, turn it on.
Do
Like,
this.
what do you mean?
Like, who?
Right.
Like,
Hired them?
what?
They literally hired Bungie for
They
this
had the
reason.
choice to not listen to Bungie. They could have been like, no, you're wrong. Like, what do you mean? Like, Bungie is owned by Sony now. So it's Sony's fault.
It's all the way. It's their fault for coming out and see. This is the big thing. People and a lot of people aren't really looking at it this way either. It's like they did a lot of hiring of studios or acquiring of studios that they wanted to make live service games for. When you talk about Fair Games and all these other studios and Haven and stuff, but the thing was, a lot of people just assumed that PlayStation they had multiple teams that were working. Like at Guerrilla, they have multiple teams. They got working on live service game. Then they got other studios working on other games. And same thing with Naughty Dog. But it looks like Naughty Dog was like full board, really just working on this game. And it kind of makes sense because if you go back and look at all of the remasters that got done for Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, Last of Us remastered for the PC wasn't even handled by them. They had really nothing to do with that game at all. A lot of the ports and stuff, a lot of the ports from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 wasn't done by them because they've been kind of head down on this. And the biggest thing that really stood out to me is the fact that they felt like they had to make a huge decision. And I'm sitting there like, well, I never thought that you was ever going to stop making single player games, but it seems like Sony made it seem like that's what you were going to do. And the fact that they had to take a real hard look in the mirror and say, what are we good at? And you'll be the first, Sloma, and listen. And I told Sloma this a long time ago, and everybody kept jumping down my throat about it. I said, it's nothing wrong with PlayStation being good at what PlayStation is good at. They don't have to be like, do we want multiplayer games on PlayStation? Absolutely. Everybody wants to have multiplayer games on PlayStation. If you can get those games and them be good, it'll be great to have. But the one thing we know that PlayStation has, they make really good, compelling stories around narrative-driven stories and single-player gameplay. If that's what PlayStation's great at, and that's what you buy a PlayStation for, and that's what people want on your platform, you should continue to keep giving people that. But they tried to do something that they're not good at, and they tried to do it with the studios that they already have. And I'm like, why would you do that to people? It's like now you're literally starting. It's like not only are they doing development the long way, now they got to get these developers up to speed on how to make games like this, and then they still got to make the game. So that was the downside of everything for me, and I felt like we should just be happy with the games that they were making and bring new studios in or build new studios inside of those studios to help manufacture the games you want, but don't take away the games that they're already making, because this is why Naughty Dog feels the way that they feel. They feel like we don't want to lose single player heritage, which is funny because they definitely threw two different words and they was like, yo, we had to make this hard decision, because single player is what we built our heritage on. And we had to make sure that we let you know that we're building two brand new single player experiences that's going to be awesome. So yeah, you're going to miss this game, but we're going to go back to what we're good at.
Yeah, which
And
I think
why
is
were you
like,
put in that situation in the first place, honestly?
yeah, I think, I mean, didn't they have like a separate group of people working on the live service factions too?
It seemed like it was only 20 people.
Well, it was more than that, but they had
to be, right.
The people initially they were working on the multiplayer for The Last of Us Part 2, and then they expanded on that and they split those people, which could have been 20, 30, who knows how many people, out to then become its own team working on The Last of Us Online, Factions 2, whatever you want to call it. And then they did back in 2019, they were definitely hiring specifically for those roles. So I don't know how big that team got, but Jesse Schrader said back in like May that they started downsizing that team. So as they were quote unquote reassessing the game, which if you're already downsizing the team, but we're reassessing. Like either it's going to stay where it should have been in the first place, or you're going to cancel it. So
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Singer Blade X? Singer, if you're good. Nope, he's not good. Okay, what about you, Blade X?
Do I sound better now?
You do sound better now.
There we go. I solved it. So shout out to Neil Cookman and the naughty dogs.
What? No, Neil Tuckman? Really?
Yeah, all right, because they blew smoke up your ass, and then they cancelled this. Everyone was hyped over that screenshot that he brought up on stage and was like, "Yeah, the game's coming, woohoo!" And everyone jotted it down. And then we heard it was on ice, and everyone said, "Oh, it's cancelled." And everyone's like, "No, it's on ice. No, it's still in development." Yeah, they just fed you a load of bullcrap, and you ate it up. And so here we are. It's cancelled. And I mean, BG did make a good point. Shout out to BG in this tweet. They upped the price of PSN, but they haven't given you any first-party multiplayer games outside of Gran Turismo. So they raised the price on you, but they ain't giving you anything in return. It's looking pretty crazy out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad because people think Naughty Dog, they put them up on this pedestal, and they are when it comes to first-person games. But multiplayer, you should have just remixed The Last of Us 1 factions, added a few new maps, Last of Us 2 gameplay, and then just call it a day. You don't need this whole live service thing. Clearly, you are not capable, so you should just stop and just do that. And they bit off more than they could chew, and it is what it is.
Back in 2019, because I'm getting some pushback in the chat on the things I'm saying. Okay, let's go back here, right? If you decide to invest in anything, whose fault is it that you didn't do the research to know what you needed to do, the resources you needed to have, and what you would need to do once it was out there, the product you were making was out there in order to maintain it? That's no one's fault but yourself. It's not like they're the first company ever to make a big live service game. Hello? You know how many big live service games are already out right now? Pick one, look at the studio. You're in the industry. Talk to people with the company and find out, like, what do we need to do to make that your Sony? Their games are on your platform. You can go email somebody that works there, a producer, and get some information. The fact that they didn't do any of that, and now it takes Bungie of all people, Bungie, who is out here trying to do like self-help guides of how to be financially viable. Meanwhile, they're about to go bankrupt. Bungie out here telling you this ain't going to work 4 years later. No, it's your fault. Period. Like miss me with all this. Hey, they didn't know. We know they didn't know. You're not telling me anything I don't know. They said they didn't know in their statement. The problem is that they should have known. I mean,
there should have been some better planning, especially on whoever was managing this. You know what I'm saying? Like who was in charge of the management aspect of it. It's just really, it's a weird statement. Them not realizing that it would take a lot of manpower in order to oh my god, I am blanking out. In order to
run the live service.
Yeah, run a live service title.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's cool that they're coming out with 2 single player games or whatever, but I don't know. I think that they should have just released an updated Last of Us factions too, and just had it be a multiplayer, not this I mean, they could have monetized the multiplayer. They didn't have to do a live service.
Yeah,
I think they brought in a guy from Fortnite.
What did you say, Blade?
I think didn't they bring in someone from Fortnite to deal with the battle pass and stuff like that?
They brought in a guy who who specifically works with like developing battle passes and systems, basically to get people to spend money. And Fortnite is very good at that. I can attest to it personally because I just bought all 4 of the Ninja Turtles for like however how much it costs. Hey, slow your roll, bro. No. They're good at getting people to spend money on a free entry game. And that guy left like in September or October or something. Like he left a few months ago. Like that was the sign that it's a wrap when the people that you need, because like his role is far more important post-launch than it is in the development cycle. Yeah, he'll develop like, the way stuff looks to the player when they first start playing the game. But it's important to have somebody like that post-launch, getting people to come up with, actually come out of the pocket with spending money, because that's how those live service games survive post-launch is the microtransactions, the battle passes, the skins or cosmetics, emotes, whatever you decide that works within the framework of your game, that makes sense for your game, but people actually want. Like that stuff is how this stuff continues to make money. And you look at these platforms that have the most monthly active users and the most revenue generated. It is the kind of live service games that gets these people consistently spending money on a consistent basis. That's why Sony wants one of those kind of games, is why they approved of trying to make 12 live service games as a service games, and then end up having to delay half of them and cancel some and whatnot, because they're looking at their financials and they're just like the games that make the most money on our platform are not our games.
Yeah, they should have like
They
should have just did like 1 to see how it actually works instead of approving like 12. I think it was definitely a matter of their ambitions were just way too high. And there's nothing wrong with having high ambitions, but at the same time, it's more like in a lot of situations when you want to achieve a goal, it's better to start with things that are actually manageable. Things that, especially if it's something new that you've not done before, that way you're not disappointed if you can't reach that goal. Like example, of course, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, well, let's have something more bite size. Okay, let me lose 5 pounds. That's more manageable. Something that's more likely to be achieved, and therefore you don't feel that crushing weight of disappointment when you don't lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks, because that's how people think that shit works, right? So I just think that it's really unfortunate that they couldn't. I think I don't know, man. Like I said, the comments that came out of this were absolutely hysterical. They limited who could reply, because of course they did, right? And shout out to Geekhead saying, "I'm just here for the positive vibes." Yeah, shout out to Paris. He's a very positive person. Wolfgang.
There were some hilarious ones.
There's just yeah, it was pretty bad.
The thing is, they shouldn't have promised it. Like they knew it back then. It was, kind of going down the crapper when Jason Schreier posted his article is on ice. And then he should have come out ahead of it. On the day of the article, or before Jason Schreier put out the article and say, hey, it's cancelled. Because then he put it on ice. Then they made a statement where one of the devs says it's still in development. And then everyone cheered because they were like, okay. And then they cancelled it. And it's like, you already knew it was cancelled when it was put on ice. And you bought Bungie, and I mean, Bungie at the moment is struggling themselves. And they told you that, they're saying it. So it's just one error led to another error, and I don't know who's responsible for it. I still blame, it is what it is. But at least they're making single player games. But again, when you will see another Naughty Dog game, don't worry, actually, I got it. What they'll do is they'll remaster Lost Legacy.
Oh my god!
After part 2, and then they'll remake.
They haven't dropped a new IP in 10 years.
No. Hear me out. They'll drop Lost Legacy, Then they'll do the Uncharted Collection remaster. Then they'll do the Last of Us Collection remaster.
Hey, go ahead, stop, just stop singing, stop. Nobody hear that foolishness. That better not.
I mean, to be fair, that's all Naughty Dog been giving you ever since Last of Us 2 release. That's all they're giving you is remasters. So
remasters and remakes, yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't dropped a new IP in 10 years. It's ridiculous, and their messaging has always been bad. Like, this is actually the first time they've actually said something that they weren't being forced to say because something leaked. And they were just like, oh, well, I guess we better just admit to this, because like since 2019, everything that we've heard from them or seen from them has been something that has been leaked ahead of time. And then when they do come out publicly and speak on things, it's been misinformation. It's been like when they went to Summer Game Fest and they showed their concept art. Went there to go show concept art, right? And I'm sorry, not that. The Last of Us Part 1 remake, when they showed up there and Jeff Keighley said, so it's The Last of Us Part 2 combat, but then Last of Us Part 1. And that should have been, I don't know if Neil wasn't paying attention to what Jeff was saying, because I do this often. People talk and I'm not really actively listening. I just kind of just say, and then I just start talking. Maybe
I know that for
happened.
Sure. 100%. I can verify and confirm that this is how he does these things. 100%.
Anyway.
Not even a joke.
Anyway, regardless, it was on Neil to correct Jeff, because that was not The Last of Us Part 2 combat in The Last of Us Part 1, but he didn't correct it. He actually just kind of nodded or gave like a body language confirmation and went on talking about the stuff he wanted to talk about. And it gave the impression to the PlayStation community that what Jeff said was true. And then when it came out, people were massively disappointed that was not the case. It's been, for the past 4 years, a lot of unfortunate news being leaked and not being told the way they wanted to tell it. And then there's also been misinformation. And just when you look at that statement, to me, it's true that, like, look, they're very good at making single player content, narrative driven content, but the statement seems to be just crafted in a way to minimize the L they took here by having to cancel the game, by saying, oh, well, look, we got multiple single player games in development. You're a 400 dev studio. You're working on one game and you got like 2 in prototype or 1 in pre-production. It's not like you're about to drop like 3 games on us in the course of like the next 3 or 4 years. We're probably getting 1 actual game that's not a remaster or remake in that time period. So just like you're kind of over exaggerating your single player output to make up for the fact that you were out here. Hey, hold up. Actually, I have ran a business before, Storm Shadow. What you're doing right now is you're showing that you're hurt. You're really hurt because you're a pony and you can't stand your favorite studio getting the business. Okay, they took an L, and you taking the L in the chat right now with your little pissy bitch fit, whatever the hell you think you're doing.
Are you good?
Oh damn!
I'm good, yo. I'm just like,
almost laughing today.
It's funny that people just can't accept the truth of the matter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, it's a very difficult situation, and I blame leadership. I blame management. It's up to them to, lead and make sure the developers are comfortable and following whatever creative vision that they had laid out for them. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that this is unfortunate, and I feel for the I feel for Naughty Dog fans. At least you know that your studio can still make good games. Because BioWare, oh, don't get me fucking started. Don't get me started.
Yeah,
Man. I am
at least you can.
heartbroken.
Yeah, we're BioWare fans, but we not out here defending freaking Mass Effect Andromeda. We're not out here saying, oh well, even though current day BioWare is nowhere near who they used to be, we're not defending the way Dragon Age Dreadwolf looked when that leaked. Like the fact that people can't just accept, like, hey, look, these two things can't exist at the same time. You could be a fan of a studio and the work that they've done, and yet at the same time have constructive criticism about the things that you don't like, about the things that the mistakes they clearly have made, and that you don't like the way current things have played out. It's like, why people can't just accept that and say that without damage controlling for a company that they don't work for makes no sense to me. You look and sound stupid on the internet when you do that.
Yeah, so it's just you know, who brought this up?
It was me.
Okay, so this
was,
is go ahead.
Shout out to Zubitech. This is brief history of Naughty Dog. 4 games PlayStation 1, 4 games PlayStation 2. Lovely. Then the PS3, PS4. You know, you got look at all these original titles. All right. Then you got one, and then you're like, look at these original titles.
That is
and
well,
then
okay,
when you look at what they
wait, bring up the PS3 and PS4 one again. All right, so Uncharted in 2007, Uncharted 2 in 2009, Uncharted 3 in 2011, The Last of Us 2013, Last of Us Remastered 2014, Uncharted 2 2016, Uncharted Lost Legacy, and then Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, that's actually very impressive that they were able, like, the quality of those games and how they how fans feel about them, how critics feel about them, and the fact that they were able to release them in such a short time frame, one after the other, is very impressive.
It is, but then you look at what they've done for the PS5.
Do you want to read them out loud?
Still fire.
Uncharted Collection Remaster, Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, Remastered, 2022. In the same year, The Last of Us Part 1. And then now in 2024, they have The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered.
Yeah, no, I can understand why Jack was so upset in comparison. Like, if you look at this list on what they were able to do in the PS3 and PS4 era, and what was the other era that they were in?
PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Look all that original content.
Yeah, I think that's very impressive, and yeah, I feel like at this point, this is how I feel. I feel it's so interesting, right? Like, gaming is so profitable. The game industry in general, seemingly, right? And yet there are so many studios where there's so many layoffs, right? And there's so many studios where it's like their ambition is just they're just spending so much money on these games I feel like they're trying to, like, one up one another, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel like they feel that games have to look and run a certain way, and if they don't, they'll be criticized and people will like, "Oh, this is what you came out with?" And because of that mindset, they're taking longer to come out with games, they're spending more money. I'm talking about, like, the big studios, Avi, but,
Right.
not indies and stuff, like the smaller indie studios, you know? And, they're spending way more. I think they're spending way more money than they need to, in my opinion. Like, I don't understand how they've gotten to this point where they are spending so much fucking money that it's like, okay, we got to let go a majority of our staff because we can't afford to keep these people on because this game that we poured millions into has been a complete and utter failure. You know, I don't like, do they not have any financial advisors? Like, there's no, I mean, what is going on in the gaming industry right now? I understand that there was, like, a big boon in hiring during the vid because, and especially in tech, as we became we started working from home and everything, and you know, they were just hiring because there was a need for that. But now we are slowly being forced back into the office, and people are losing their jobs, and these companies are losing money, and it's really unfortunate to see. And that's why I think, like, you see most of the, like, the actual real, quote, unquote, "real innovation" in a lot of these smaller indie titles, because they're like, "Okay, well, we have to do something because we don't have the money or manpower to make these big graphical showcases or this, game with, like, some crazy amazing gameplay." I think the only studio that can, like, funnel millions of dollars into their game and be perfectly fine is Rockstar, you know? In fact, they should funnel millions of dollars into their fucking game, considering how much money they make on an annual basis, okay? That's the one studio where I'm like, yes,
That's exactly
spend
how
that,
they're able to
open
do
that
it.
I mean,
And Fortnite.
and
I
Fortnite,
mean,
yes.
I mean, there's a lot of companies like World of Warcraft to some extent, Riot Games.
Riot Games, definitely.
They have a crap ton of cash and they funnel it in. But then obviously we can't quite compare them because these are like big, mega, 150 million player games, like bigger than most things. And Rockstar, they had a hit with GTA 5, but they did ride it and they made. I mean, it's the third best selling game of all time. So I mean, Rockstar's going to shovel a whole bunch of money, billions probably, into GTA 6, and I guarantee they make every penny of that back and more. It's the only game I think that would sell 20 or 30 million in a day, GTA 6.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
Shout out to No Envy Gaming. What's up, baby? Who's been a member for 37 months, saying what's up, Scumcast in chat. What's goody? What's up, Tristan? What's up, Jeff? What's up, Aljuin? Whew. What's up, Autumn? What's up, Red X Shinobi? What's up, what's it, Micavelli? What's up, Sly? What's up, Dorian? What's up, guys? How y'all doing this wonderful night? What's up, Party Up? How y'all doing? Star Revan, like Revan from that Star Wars show. That Revan. Anyway.
Yeah,
that is true, Dorian.
Singer brought up Riot Games, and Riot, they don't just make League of Legends and Valorant. They make a number of different games, and I know that studio is like really big, but I asked the question in the chat. I don't think anyone really knows the answer, but I wonder how big the Valorant team itself is, because Valorant is, I don't know where it ranks in like the overall gaming community or the gaming industry when it comes to how much money it generates and how many players it has. I know it's really, really high up there. It's like top 5, but that game came out just 3 years ago.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. And it's only on PC. It's not on console. So, for the guys who think that you need to have a game on consoles for it to be successful, no. Valorant, none of Riot's games have touched the consoles, actually. So
what were you saying, Singer?
Hello?
Yeah, we heard you trying to speak.
Go ahead.
Oh,
what
yeah.
you saying?
Is it really bad, or is it good now?
Yeah, you sound fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. I actually have an update on that because they have a State of Riot at the end of the year. Every year they have a State of Riot and they recap what they're doing for the year, what games they're releasing or making. Like the announcement of Arcane was there, and the announcement of the fighting game and the MMO. All that came from the 10th anniversary State of Riot, essentially, is what it is. And Valorant is hugely successful. And they said they were shocked how successful and how much people have gravitated to it. Because obviously they were just known for League of Legends, and then they made this shooting game. Then they made the card game, Legends of Runeterra, which is really, really popular. Probably not as big as Hearthstone. Might be. I don't know. Maybe. Probably close. And now obviously they have those things. So yeah, it is really profitable for them. Because they make these games, they maintain them, they update them regularly with new skins. Like, they make so much money off skins. And also for Valorant, they do it, but their skins are good. People actually want to buy the skins because you have your favorite waifu or whatever. And yeah. So to answer your question, Solo, yes, it is incredibly profitable for them.
I have
Not as
literally never
profitable as
seen
League, though.
a Valorant game a day in my life. Like, I have no idea what this game looks like.
It looks like Counter-Strike, but more colorful.
Counter-Strike, Overwatch. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a mix
there we
of
go.
the two of those.
Yeah, and
I mean,
it's like not a graphical showcase, and yet they still make buku money, just like Fortnite does. It's just really impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And the word in the chat is the Valorant team is 150 developers. So
it's more than that because Riot itself is absolutely huge.
Yeah, but they make other games too. They make single player RPGs, like smaller single player. Like they make a lot of games. So I was specifically asking about like what is how big is the Valorant team itself? Not like all of Riot. You know, all of Riot's like over 1,000 developers. So like just the team that works on Valorant, how big they are. And FTW, shout out to him in the chat, said that he saw an article from 2020 saying, which is probably when it released, saying that it was 150 developers. So
yeah, that would make sense because they need people to balance the game, make the skins, because they have their own team to look after that. So I would imagine they stick with 150 if that was the last reported number. They may have moved some people off because now the game's made. You don't need 150 people to make skins and do balance changes to the game. So, because I know the League of Legends balance team is like 50 people. That's the balance team. So it's probably 150 makes sense because you need 50 probably for balance. Then you need to make new content, and then you need people for the skins. So
yeah,
that's totally right.
All right, sweet. So any last words on this before we move on?
Nope.
All right, so
Nope.
Okay, Nautico, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh man, I think I want some waffles or something. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's talk about Blade. So
Blade.
people, okay, because Microsoft didn't flat out say Blade is going to be exclusive to the box and PC and whatever Game Pass is available, whatever, right? People have been speculating on whether or not Blade will actually be an exclusive or not. So there's been a lot of back and forth about it. Bethesda declined to comment on Blade's potential exclusivity. The reveal trailer did not provide the details on the game's release or platform, leaving fans speculating. And again, this is Arcane Leon's new game. So once again, I fucking love Dishonored. Like, that game is insane. That game is so fucking good. It's just like, I actually played it. Ask me when I played it. A year ago, 2 years ago, something like that, right? I played it like a year or two ago. Bitch, it might have been last year. I don't know. I played it last year.
It was definitely last year.
Okay,
your memory is just the.
Please stop talking. And your memory sucks even worse than mine.
Your memory is worse than mine. Okay, I remember when you played the game.
At least I can pronounce people's names properly. Okay,
doesn't have to do with anything.
Let's start there.
That's just throwing stuff at the wall at this point.
So yeah, anyway, I love Dishonored. It's a fantastic fucking game. Even though the game came out in 2012, it's still such an amazing game to go through and play. I played it on PC. I had so much fun with it. Dishonored 2 is also good. Not as good as Dishonored. Dishonored Death of the Outsider is also good. Not as good as Dishonored, but the games are just fucking phenomenal. So they're doing something. Deathloop was first person too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're doing
all their games have been first person perspective.
Sweet. Okay. So they're doing something a little different with Blade. It's going to be third person. Good fucking luck. I'm very curious to see how that goes. I'm very curious. But like, you know, part of the appeal of playing as Blade and playing as like a recognizable character is that you want to see them. You know, you want to be able to see them and play as them, that is, and really embody that character. So I'm very curious as to how the game is going to feel once they get the gameplay down. But since again this is Arcane Leon, they did Dishonored and Deathloop. I have faith in them, and I'm genuinely curious to see what happens here. So, people have been talking about Xbox needing a superhero game, and so they got one, right? And I think Blade is super fucking cool. I love Blade. So, and Blade doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. Those Blade movies with Wesley Snipes, still
Yeah.
bangers. I can still go back and watch those
Yeah.
to this day. So,
They're on Hulu right now too. If people want to
Yeah.
oh
jump
sweet.
back on, yep.
So, okay. So, I mean, what do you guys think about whether or not it's gonna be exclusive?
It's
It's gonna
exclusive.
be exclusive. It's gonna be exclusive because Bethesda keeps doing this. I think it's because they were allowed to like do their own thing. Because you think of Starfield, there was no platforms announced when it was initially released, and the trailer was only released on Bethesda's YouTube channel. Now Indiana Jones, shown off, no platforms. Released on Bethesda's YouTube channel. The only reason we know it's exclusive is because of the court case. If it wasn't because of the FTC hearing, we would still be questioning, is Indiana Jones exclusive? Obviously, we now know it is. So this is the Bethesda's MO. They showed it. No mention of platforms. It's like, this is going to be exclusive. Like, why would you give a game like that away? It just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, it's exclusive. I mean, you can hope and whatnot,
To
but
sell more copies.
but see, the thing is, people said that about Starfield and it turned exclusive. Oh, it'll release on PlayStation because they need to make their money back. Yeah, it turns out they made it exclusive anyway. So you can't even rely on that. So they did, and also Phil Spencer did say, when they initially bought Bethesda and they had that interview thing with Todd Howard, Phil Spencer, Pete Hines, and he said, these games will be wherever Game Pass is. Game Pass is not on PlayStation. Games with
Thank God.
PlayStation will be on PlayStation. Blade has no hitch PlayStation like that. So, and it's a single player game. So it's exclusive. Wrap it up. It's a wrap.
It's exclusive, and I'm not going to say any more than that on that. I think the art style is. I think people need to kind of not pass judgment on things when we haven't even. All we've seen is a teaser trailer that is not fully representative of what the game will be when it comes out, as we know how teaser trailers are, and concept art, which also concept art does not always fully represent what the actual visuals of a game actually are. Now, sure, we can look at prior Arcane games and see their art direction. Like you look at Dishonored, it's got kind of like an art direction that's almost kind of like watercolor, like visual look, which it looks good for the game and the genre. And you could probably look at that and say you can translate that into Blade and give it a certain look that may appeal to a lot of people or may turn some people off. I think the art style that they've deployed in previous games, Arcane Leon, that is, I like that better than, say, the visual look that Crystal Dynamics tried to do with Marvel's Avengers. I thought like they tried to go for a more realistic look in that game, and I thought the game looked pretty bad. But maybe that's just me. I there's not enough information really to really answer a lot of the questions that people have about its art direction, gameplay, because I don't think the way Dishonored plays is how a Blade game should play. So, and then you got a studio that's never done third-person perspective gameplay before, and it's their first time doing it. There's a lot that's out of the Arcane wheelhouse that they are taking on with this game. So I'm still more in a wait and see mode to see how it turns out. And hopefully the next thing we see from them isn't another like teaser trailer or something. It's actual gameplay. But
yeah, like I
well,
think that something Arcane Leon is really good at is creating environments that fit the narrative, because I feel like the environment that Deathloop was set in fit the narrative, the little I played of that shit, right? I 100% felt like the environment they created for Dishonored and Dishonored 2 fit the narrative. So I feel like oh man, I definitely feel like they could make something really unique and interesting with Blade. And then Dwayne said, like, it's a comic book character. If anything, I would want to see a more stylish art style than the realistic stuff. I think that's a good point. Since it is a comic book character. That said, most of people's experience with Blade is through um the movie. And maybe the TV show was Sticky Fingers, which I personally enjoyed the show. My favorite character was Chase, the vampire. She was just so anyway, so we can just move on from that. And yes, is exactly the fit. Yeah. I played Low Chaos Corvo in both Dishonored 1 and 2. And it was fun. It was a good time. Did they say what kind of game this is going to be?
Action adventure, mature rated, third person perspective, single player. Taking place in Paris and what?
I said sounds pretty vague to me.
Oh, I thought you said sounds pretty fake. I was like, wait, what? But no, yeah, it's supposed to be a AAA game too. So yeah. That's all we really know.
I expect it to be a good. And I expect it to be exclusives also. Cause I think they're just waiting to the ink to dry to come out and say it's gonna be exclusives. I think that's just the only hold up.
Yeah. Nalaco, any thoughts on this, man?
Man, who knows? I mean, look, the game's exclusive. Can't say more than that. It's exclusive. It's like, I think Singer said it the best, with it being a Bethesda thing. Bethesda's kind of always been like that, especially when it comes to just talking about the games how they want to talk about what platforms and stuff. So it's probably just following that same blueprint. It's just a simple fact that, everybody here can say it definitely feels weird or looks weird when they don't even show their own logo on it. So I think that was kind of the only thing that kind of threw a lot of people a loop. They didn't even say Xbox Game Pass or Xbox anything during the marketing. So I think that's kind of what threw a lot of people off for the most part. But, the game's definitely going to be exclusive. I think, everybody's going to have their own superhero game at this point. I think Blade is, I think that's a really, really good pick. I mean, there's a lot of other ways they could have went, and I'm very, very happy about that. And, I echo what Lucas said, the movies were freaking incredible, and getting a chance to see how the depiction of that character is going to be in a video game form, I think it's going to be cool. The only thing I won't even say really worries me is just the fact that this is something that Arcane's never done before. They traditionally done first person type games, and this is going to be a third person game. But I do like the fact that they are going to give it a chance, because we all like to see our developers try new things and innovate on themselves and make their craft even better, make them even stronger at the craft that they are. So I'm really, really excited to see exactly what comes of this. The biggest thing is they just have to figure out, they don't have to figure it out. I just think that they really, really need to hammer home that this game is going to be something different than what they did before. And part of that comes back to the fact that even knowing this is Arcane Lyon, there is still an Arcane Austin out there that wears the same name that made a game called Redfall, that 99% of the people that play video games don't know that there's two different Arcanes, and
right.
All
there's been a lot of confusion with that.
A lot of confusion, and all they're going to hear is the last game that Arcane made was Redfall, and that game was horrible.
Bladefall is what
right, exactly. Bladefall. So
Bladefall.
So being a person,
getting a crossover.
Yeah, so being a person that knows that difference, I'm definitely not worried about that. It's just that they need to really, really hammer home the perception of what this game is going to be to get people excited to not even think about a game like Redfall when it comes to it in the future. But I'm super excited to see where they go with it, and I'm happy that they were able to get a game like this inside of the staple, and it just ultimately comes back to, like, what are they going to do with it?
Yeah, I think what's going to be really important for them, especially in their transition from doing what they've always done, which is like a first-person perspective game, to third-person perspective, is really solid animations of Blade and combat itself, motion matching, which is essentially like movement and realistic movement on surfaces like the ground that you run on, and like if you're sprinting, you sprint around a corner, having it look natural and not look like, oh yeah, I'm clearly playing a video game. Like stuff like that needs to look really good, and you can tell the difference between AA and AAA games when you see stuff like that not look very fluid. The walking up of stairs, where and we all seen this in video games. You walk upstairs in a game, and the steps that your character is taking don't actually match up to the stairs that you actually are walking up. Like things like that are what you see in AA games, that and some AAA games that aren't very good, but like the high quality AAA games really nail those kind of things. Those are things that I think that they're going to have to really make that transition to. And I'm interested in seeing how it all turns out. But I think if they nail the combat, no one's really going to care too much about, oh, well, the art direction wasn't what I wanted. I mean, you look at Sifu's combat is amazing, and the art direction is very much kind of what we see from the concept art for Blade, but definitely a completely new IP and not a actual Marvel character. So maybe some people just didn't care about Sifu, but I don't know anyone that was all like, I can't play the game because the visuals are so butt ugly. No one said that. People enjoyed the combat for what it was because it worked. And I think if they nail the combat and they make it feel like Blade, that everything else will just fall into play. And also have a good story that people can really resonate with.
Yeah. I'm very curious as to what the story will be and what the primary focus is going to be on. And I wonder if it's going to be like an original story or if they're going to take some inspiration from Blade comics. You know what I'm saying? What kind of stories does Blade have? I have never.
Blade's got some interesting stories. He didn't really ever have like his own book into the 90s, but he's had some stories with Spider-Man. He's got this came out this year, actually. I think it was this year. It may came out last year, but I read it this year. But there's this Blade like Vampire Nation book I read where it's like the vampires have their own like little small nation. I think it was like in like Western Russia or something like that. And he's like the sheriff of the town. And he's like doing investigations and it's like Dracula is trying to fight off assassination attempts, and he's doing like he's all over the place in the comics. I think they could draw from some of that, and they probably will. You probably find Easter eggs all over the place in the game, but I think that for most people who are interested in this game, they're going to be more interested in the Wesley Snipes rendition of Blade, which didn't really become a thing until Wesley Snipes did it, and then the comics kind of repatterned Blade behind that, because initially when Blade was first created, the only power he had was the ability to not be turned into a vampire. Like he was immune to the bite. But then eventually they kind of like gave him a power up, kind of reimagine the character to have like all the abilities of a vampire, but none of the weaknesses, kind of thing. But
we should watch Blade again.
Yo, the movies are so cool. Wesley Snipes killed it. Yeah, but I think that like that attitude that Wesley Snipes had, and his demeanor, his body language, all that stuff needs to be a part of the game for people to feel like it's Blade. Like, yeah, you can be creative in the story and everything, and maybe even introduce, like, I don't know if they're going to introduce like the fact that he's got a daughter now in the comics and stuff like that, but just you still need to embody the Wesley Snipes side of it. because that's what people recognize as Blade.
I agree.
I think they'll take some cute Easter eggs from more of the movies because people will probably more know him from the movies. You know, when they're in the nightclub and all the blood comes down from
That
the
shit is
ceiling.
so fucking fire, dude.
I'm pretty sure in that game there'll be a scene where you have to go into a nightclub and blood's coming down from the sprinklers, and you have to go in there and just start murdering everyone. I mean, I'm pretty sure stuff like that, easy Easter eggs, because everyone knows that scene, right?
Yeah.
So
everyone who's seen it, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
I got a question though.
Of course.
Is Arcane known for making good AI? Because the last game I played, the AI was really dumb.
What studios are known
And
for
that's
having
what
good
I'm
AI?
talking about right there.
Yeah. Well, the AI in Deathloop was really, really bad.
No, I mean, I'm like, what studios are known that have like really good AI?
I think Naughty Dog.
Can you name anything else?
Seafood AI is pretty good too.
So out of the
So he's
hundreds of
basically
games
talking
that
about
release,
he's basically talking about the 99.9% of studios out there that don't have what those few studios do have.
like literally most AI in fucking games are dumb. Like I can't even like
Yeah.
I mean like dumb, but I don't mean like super dumb. I don't want my AI to be like super dumb. Because Deathloop was really terrible.
No, I believe you. No, I'm thinking about when I played Deathloop. Ask me if I remember anything. I don't fucking remember anything about playing that game.
I think there are probably more games that have bad AI than good AI.
Yes, way more.
True.
Because a lot of the game of the years, you know, the AIs are a bit wonky in a lot of those games. Like Baldur's Gate 3, the AI is good, but it's, you know, there's clearly some interesting things. Like you would throw poison on the ground, they would walk straight into the poison. You're like, okay.
Yeah, you can't make them too because like there's listen, we know modern gamers, including me, are all bums, right? So but you can't make it too dumb either. So it's really one of those balancing acts and stuff. Like if you think about it, a lot of games, well, a couple of games that I know of where it's like if you increase the difficulty, the enemies just hit harder, but the AI doesn't get any smarter. You know what I'm saying? So there's more games that are like that versus games that have smarter AI, you know? So I would say that are they known for having good AI? No, but only certain studios are. So it's one of those things like a balancing act. I would the better question would be, is the game going to release fucking buggy? Because I can say something about Dishonored 2 releasing with a shit ton of bugs. All right, we could have a conversation about that. Does that have bugs? I don't know.
To Blade X's point though, Deathloop's AI is it's a next level kind of stupid. Like most games do have bad AI. Deathloop's AI is especially bad.
No,
like
I believe you.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not Redfall bad because Redfall AI that was bugged. That was like it wasn't even supposed to be that bad. Like I specifically remember walking into a room, like looting it in Redfall, and it was a vampire behind me that was just staring at a wall. And I didn't know the vampire was there for like 30 seconds till I turned and was like, oh snap, there's a vampire in here. And I'm like, so I walk up beside the vampire and I'm just flicking my flashlight off and on in front of him. And he just like, no response at all. And I just came up behind him and just shotgunned him in the back of the head. And then he finally responded. But it's just like, that's egregious. Like that's a level of dumb AI that just ruins a game. And they better make sure it's not that bad because that's like you shouldn't release a game in that state. Redfall should have been released like that.
That's the game that should have been fucking canceled.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Redfall should not have existed. We should have never seen anything like that.
Slow-mo.
What you say? Sing, I didn't hear nothing you said, man.
Whoa, you didn't? Okay,
No,
is
no.
AI as bad as Lydia from Skyrim?
He wouldn't
I didn't
know that
play. Yeah,
'cause
I didn't play
he didn't
Skyrim
play
that
enough
much.
to
Yeah.
have Lydia as a companion. So
Your mortal infinite carrying capacity. Basically, everyone thinks you're the great hero in the game. Now Lydia is. She's immortal.
she
She
can
can carry
carry
literally
everything,
everything, and you can equip her with any weapon, and she goes into a room and just starts murdering people. But like Lydia, also like the Skyrim AI is just hilarious.
pretty bad, dude.
But I think it's a signature of Bethesda, though. Think about it.
Is it?
I mean,
Is that a signature they should be proud to be known for?
well,
it's a terrible AI.
probably mainly. AI has always not been the best, you
Yeah.
know. So it's kind of tough, but I trust Arcane Leon to do a good job, because if they go back to what they did with Dishonored, that kind of feeling, like the movement and combat is just stellar.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Oh,
so
it's
fucking
so
good,
good.
Ben. Like it just feels so good, you know? But okay, let's go ahead and just move on to my channel member topics and then leave because I want to go eat. Like I'm fucking hungry, even though I just ate. So, anyway, we just
What's that about?
maybe I'm just starving myself.
Or other reasons.
Like what?
Never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
What are the other reasons?
I don't know. Just any reason. Oh, look,
Okay.
we got a message from Scrotum. Yeah.
My boy Scrote. I feel like I understood what you were implying, but I'm just confused as to why you would imply that because I don't see anyone ever, you know?
Yeah. You know what? Go ahead, just do the kill.
Like, I live in a perpetual state of singledom.
Yeah,
like you're not the only. You're not the only.
Tapeworms. Any reason?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what you were doing. I'm like, you're actually not the only person this week that's asked me if I'm still single, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm still single. Like, what makes
he
people
literally
think that
tried to
anything has
spin
changed?
move you without
He can't. Okay, first of all, Slomo cannot gaslight me. Okay, he just
I'm
can't do
listening
it.
like Slomo.
So,
Why you messing with her like that, bro? Leave
you
her
know,
alone.
he can't
What?
gaslight me. Whenever
what are you
I
guys
start,
talking about?
I
What
did
you
eat before the podcast.
mean?
But I had 5 meatballs and some broccoli. That's what I ate. So that's why I'm still hungry. But they were like the cute mini ones from Costco. So anyway, shout out to my boy Scrote saying, "What do you think about the day before's release and the dev shutting down just a few days after? I didn't know anything about the game until earlier this week, but seeing all the footage, I'm not surprised how everything's gone down. Game Ranks has a very good breakdown of the situation as well as their own gameplay footage and review." Okay, I don't know if he said more. Let me grab my phone. The way I feel about it is that these fucking spin masters, dude, like, goddamn. What's going on?
It's a bait and switch. It's a bait and switch. What they showed, their initial reveal, if they had shown what the game actually was going to be, no one would have ever cared about the day before. This game turned out to be the most wish-listed game on Steam in the history of Steam. That's a lot of people. And the strength of that was off of a reveal trailer that was all fake. Like the game that they showed in that reveal trailer was like a mix of like The Last of Us and The Division. Doesn't exist.
Oh, they're sick.
That game
for that.
Does like none of the stuff that you saw on the high fidelity visuals, the great reflections off puddles and all the great, lighting and illumination. None of that stuff is actually in the actual game. It's a completely different kind of game whatsoever to what they actually showed. And none of that, the great visuals are there. One of the developers came out after the studio shut down and said, yeah, we don't even know, like, we didn't know what the marketing was doing. We was just like, that's not our game. That's not what we working on.
Not the marketing department going rogue. Or actually, they like had the full support of the fucking heads. Like, they're scumbags, dude, for real.
Yeah, it's a scam. It was a scam the whole time.
Scam of the year.
And like they literally said, "Damn, sometimes shit happens." They said it like that, man. I'm like, what are
Yeah,
y'all
they literally
talking
said
about?
shit happens as a response to someone saying like how dare you do this and shut down a game that was in beta like, after you took people's money and then shut it down after 4 days, and they were just like, hey man, shit happens.
Like, I mean, you do have to be some level of shameless to do something like that, though. So that makes
Yep.
perfect fucking sense to me. Like, they are sick fucking bastards, dude.
You know what's crazy about it? Everyone, when they showed it off, everyone in the Discord, I hang with when we play games, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get this game. We're gonna get this game." Everyone universally said, "Hold on, wait." And fortunately, no one got caught out by these scam artists. I feel bad for everyone who got scammed because they did you dirty. But that was, I mean, thank goodness it released on Steam because the refund policy was in full effect.
Yeah, that's good. And the crazy thing is, like, ever since Anthem, I've been like, yeah, like, for the most part, I'm waiting before buying a game. Unless somebody buys it for me, then obviously I'm gonna I'm gonna pre-order. But like, if I'm spending my money, you know what I'm saying? I wait. I'm like, hold on, hold the fuck on. I just gotta make sure that this isn't about to be some fucking nonsense. You know what I'm saying? What in the world? What is going on? You know?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of which is rare, actual journalism from games media since this happened, and they've been like really like tracking down the money and how much money was made, how much sales were made. Oh my goodness. Yo, that's Dorian, that's funny. That's really, really funny. And like they're found like all of the accounting of like where this company has all of its financials based in. It's like in Singapore, and there's a lot of like shady business behind their financials and their business practices.
Wow, they actually did their jobs, like you said. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, real crazy. Steam, to their credit, even though I think Steam should have saw the writing on the wall with this and just shut down their Steam page months ago, especially when they kept like the game was supposed to they had 2 delays. And the first delay was because they were going to transition the game from Unreal Engine 4 to 5, and it was just like, yeah, it's going to take 6 months. And people was like, wait, what? That doesn't like non-game developers are like, that don't take 6 months. What are y'all talking about? And then when the game was supposed to come out earlier this year, it was less than a week from when it was supposed to come out, and then they delayed it until like December out of nowhere. And it was like, oh, we got a copyright issue with our name. And then they took down everything. They took down all their trailers, but when they put everything back up, they did not put the trailers that showed that it was an asset flip, and it's clearly not the same kind of game that they had marketed back up, which was very curious. A lot of people have pointed that out, and then there have been other people that have pointed out that like they didn't actually. This game was made on like such a super budget that like I think the 350K sales it got was enough to make it profitable for them. Every aspect of the game is an asset flip from Unreal Engine. And so what I mean by that is that like when you get Unreal Engine, there are things in Unreal Engine that you can use to put in your game. And I guess some developers use it as like a placeholder until they make something else they want to put there. But everything in there is just stuff that's like from Unreal Engine and the Unreal Engine store. Like you can just like find that stuff in the Unreal Engine store and on Epic and just see it's the same exact thing. No changes made to it. It's the same thing. And they just made the game super, super cheap, and it's obvious because it plays like crap and it looks like crap. And as soon as they got the money they needed, they cut bait, shut down their website. As soon as they released the statement on Twitter that they were shutting the studio down, they changed their name from Fantastic to 8 points for the other like asset flip trash games they've made before that's still on Steam.
Like,
And
do
then
they not
shut down their
realize
website.
that's illegal? Like, do they just there's nothing there in their brains? Like, just
They don't care. Look,
I will never
you got
understand.
the founders of the company have Russian names, yet they don't look like they are Russian. I'm like,
oh, so they were spooky from the start.
Yeah, they were
Scammers.
I was like, you look like your last name should be Lee, or like not with yo. I was like, what
last name Lee?
I'm just like, how you're Russian? I'm like, ain't no way, yo. Like, I'm just
no. To be honest, in Steam's defense, though, like hundreds of games do release every day, and there's a whole bunch of crappers on there. Like,
true.
Not every so like it just gets mixed up in all the crap games that people, will just.
I will give Valve credit. I will give Valve credit for taking away the option for people to buy the game once they shut the studio down. So they couldn't make any more money off of it. They just went on ahead, shut all that down, so that it was no more money going into them.
I mean, to be honest, though, even if you did buy it, like you would easily be able to refund it because all you had to do was say, because Steam's really lenient. If something like that happens, you say, I bought this game, it wasn't what it should be, and then generally they get back to you and go, oh yeah, we'll refund it. GG. It's like when I can't remember what game it was broken. I was outside the 2-hour window. I had like 10 hours, 5 hours into it. And I was like, yeah, this game isn't what they said it'd be, and they refunded me anyway. So
that's good.
Shout out to Valve.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. Thanks, Scroat. To I think the name is Zion, maybe. You gotta let me know how to pronounce your name, buddy. Saying, who is drinking in the background?
Forte.
No.
Okay, whoever is like fucking ice around their cup, mute your shit. Okay, I know you're enjoying your little fast food drink. Mute your shit.
Fast food drink.
All right.
Yeah, I know it's Forte because he was doing that to me the other night.
Doing what to you?
All right. So anyway, we just move on. Have you heard about GameStop possibly very likely filing for bankruptcy? They the way I don't know how to methodically removed their employees' basic benefits like life, medical, and dental. Unfortunately, they nuked the Pro card as well, and it's essentially useless. Jesus, is that? I've not heard anything about GameStop possibly going bankrupt. Nautical would not be able to comment on it.
Oh yeah.
So let's see here.
Oh, are they talking about the benefits and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, GameStop not doing well. That I don't know. That I can definitely see. I can see GameStop going bankrupt. The fact that they've survived this long is a shock in itself. I'm not gonna lie. Just consider, especially with the vid, like the fact that they survived vid is just crazy.
You want to know what's funny though? I will say this though. PlayStation released, and I don't know. GameStop and retail still has a big pool because PlayStation, as of right now, they discontinued the PS5, the original PS5. You can't get those, and you can only get them if they're out in circulation still, which there's very few of them. They already EOL those. So now they got the Slim. And it's just like the PlayStation 5 was, where the difference between the disc version and the digital version is almost non-existent. Like we do have, I compared to like each other, I mean, because there is quite a bit of digital systems out there, but there is a lot of physical ones out there. So you would think if it was a situation where they felt like they 100% could just push forward with digital, that it would just be like, hey, just take what we can give you. You still want to get in people into the ecosystem to sell accessories and stuff like that, because that's where most of the margin comes from accessories, and the other part is games. But the fact that they're still pushing out a lot of these physical systems, it just makes me feel like we still got a good probably 2 or 3 years before they officially try to pull the plug on it. And I keep going looking at that Xbox leak for 2027 when the new systems come out, or when the new redesign of the Series X comes out. And what they're doing, it's supposed to be a digital system. I think around that time, if that actually does happen, is when you'll see the flip completely. But a lot of people do not really understand how much Nintendo really holds up a lot of retail, because Nintendo definitely still believes in physical media, and it shows because they never drop the price of their stuff, and the resale value of that stuff is really, really high. And I haven't looked at it recently, but it's probably really close between market share when it comes to like games sold between Nintendo and PlayStation. And Nintendo does, we sell a lot of Nintendo games. Like, it feels like more than PlayStation at this point. So it's really interesting to see that they're still pushing the physical systems, even knowing they have a digital option with the ability to upgrade to a physical disc drive if you want it. But they haven't done that in retail, in the stores yet. Like, we have the disc drives, but it's not like we have to sell them yet, because we have an abundance of the ones with the disc drive. So I wonder when that's going to flip, but it just seems like they're not fully ready to do it 100% yet, because there's a big market out there. Even if it's 25-30% of the market, that's still a lot of people. Over 100 million, that's still 25 to 30, maybe 50 million people over a 200, over 200 million people, that still buy physical media. That's a lot of people, though.
Okay. Excellent answer. Thank you for enlightening us on that. Okay, so if you happen to have more time and patience as well, do you all have a take on the completionist charity situation? Before we start talking about that, he says, I've been listening to the pod for some time now. Oh, shout out to you, and enjoy hearing everyone's different takes and perspectives. Wishing you all another successful year in 2024. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. It
Awesome.
means a lot when you guys let me know that you actually enjoy hearing us. Like, it really does mean a lot. Like, it really genuinely means a lot. And I know I keep repeating it, but it's like, sometimes it's just nice to hear, like, yeah, we really fuck with you, Luca. We like watching you. So the completionist. Here's the thing. I started okay, I've been subbed to some ordinary gamers since before he was just doing what he does now, which is nothing. Like, back when he did the scary stories stuff, which was fucking forever ago. So I fucks with Mutahar, I like watching his videos and everything. So when he started talking about this completionist situation, mind you, I don't know who the completionist is. I
I have
know
no
who
idea what
he
any of
is.
this stuff is.
Yeah, I know who he is, but I don't know who he is. I've never watched any of his videos. But essentially, the completionist is this YouTuber who has this who's done various let's see here. Various is it
Is that the trophy
fundraising?
hunting guy?
Hold on, the completionist. I want to make sure I'm giving the correct information. The completionist, charity, drama. All right, let me just go ahead and set. Okay, I'm not reading all this. Okay, so Gerard Khalil, known as the completionist, released a response video on Sunday because he's been accused. His family's charity, the Open Hand Foundation, has been accused of holding over $600,000. So it's more around like $650,000, right? They have been holding on to $600,000+ that's been raised over the course of 9 years, instead of actually donating it to the charities that they said they were going to donate it to, right? The accusation
Wow.
spread throughout social media, issuing a warning call to other creators performing charity work online and to the fans who are donating to the causes, right? So the Completionist's YouTube channel has 1.6 million subs, and he took a break from his content so he could release a response video to this, because this guy named Carl and then Mutahar, they released a video talking about the Open Hand Foundation possibly being a scam, essentially, right? So thankfully, at least they didn't actually spend the money. Like the money's just been sitting there. But at the same time, why, if you are talking about wanting to donate and help out these charities, would you just hold on to the money? Like, why were you holding on to it instead of actually spending the money that people had raised? Does that even
Did he
fucking make sense?
explain that? Did he ever explain that?
He said that he was looking for the correct charities, right? But like and that was
Why
in
would
his
you not have that lined up before you
Okay.
start taking people's money?
Exactly. So Mudahar said it's just interesting that like in an earlier stream, he named certain charities. Like he has certain charities by name that he wanted to work with, right? So he already knew what charities. He knew what charities, right?
So
But
they called him. Okay.
exactly.
He's a scammer.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
It's wild that like we can do the investigations and get and I'm not like criticizing people who do stuff like this. Yeah, expose these scammers. But all of our congressmen do exactly this.
That's true.
This is how lobbying works, because it's illegal for a corporation to directly give a public servant, which is a congressman, money for them to basically vote on things or push bills or kill bills for the benefit of that company. That's illegal. But what's not illegal is for them to give it to a third party, a lobbyist, who is an independent contractor that works for that company, who then gives that money to as a donation to the nonprofit organization of the congressman. And there are various nonprofit organizations. Hey, I'm trying to cure homelessness in San Francisco. I'm trying to cure cancer, whatever, right? But they don't actually do any of that stuff. And no one, and even though they can be audited to make sure that they're supposed to, every nonprofit organization is supposed to be audited on a annual basis. I know this because I thought about starting one at one point. And I actually worked for one for a while ago, back when I was in college as an internship. So I know how the ins and out works. But for some reason, congressmen, nonprofit organizations never get audited. And all they are piggy banks where they can get money for doing the dirty work, and they can spend that money however they choose to. So it's just funny how like when I see nonprofits get exposed, but like the right ones never get exposed. So
you already know how that goes, right? You know how that goes. But so let's see here. Okay. So Gerard said that his like Indie Land or whatever will no longer have a charity component, and that he will be stepping down from his role as a board member at the Open Hand Foundation. He also claimed that during the Indie Land live streams, he had mentioned the names of few charities and organizations they were working with, when in actuality they had only communicated or considered them. Which again, he stated, "Oh, we were holding onto the money just to make sure, like, we knew which organizations to give them to, but we couldn't, like, And then he asked, like, "Do you guys have any ideas of what organizations we could give them to?" When he already had named these fucking organizations, right? Like, in addition, he threatened legal action against Carl and Mudahar, who he claimed had accused him of forgery, embezzlement, and charity fraud, that is, which directly threatened the safety of him and his family. I want to be clear, at no point in the foundation's history was there any criminal or financial fraud. I'm disappointed that I was not more straightforward regarding the organization's timeline for making donations, right? So, yeah. I mean, like, at least the money was still there. And according to Mudahar, he had like, they donated the money after this was brought to light. They donated the money. So, also
got rid
something
of that money pretty fast, huh? Interesting.
Something that Mudahar had noted is that because of inflation, the money had lost its value, So it's like, what, like, you could have made more of a difference if you actually had done what you were supposed to do and donated that money to those organizations, right? So yeah, I'm genuinely curious to see what comes after this. I have to watch Mudahar's response video to Gerard, because it's threatening some legal action. I always love to see the outcome of that. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
because like more people more people should threaten legal action when it comes to things that like actually affect their livelihood, you know? Sometimes people think that they can just say and do whatever they want online and it's all gravy. Now, do I think what Mudahar and Carl did was wrong? No, I think they did the right thing pointing it out. Like, because again, why are you holding on to that money instead of donating it like you should be? It just looks suspicious. Like, at least the money is still there. You know, at least they didn't just spend it. Like, that's good. And it makes sense. I mean, Gerard has he's got 1.6 million subs. I'm sure he has his own money. Like he doesn't need to steal from his organization, right? In theory. So we'll see. But yeah, so shout out to Ronalds, who also went to discuss the completionist, saying, when you thought Payday Dre was a scammer, then enters Gerard the completionist. What are your thoughts on the charity scandal? So we offered those. Okay, so Smitty says non-gaming. What's your thoughts on tattooing people's names on your body? The only name that you should tattoo on your body is your child. Okay,
Facts.
Children and parents.
Children
Yep.
and parents or siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like if they pass or something. That's it.
Do not do the significant other. Yeah, I've seen too many videos. There's a girl getting some dude's name tattooed on the back of her neck, and she like, you gonna get my name done too, right? And he like, yeah,
I remember when my wife. I remember when my wife got her, and I was messed because I feel the same way. But I remember when she got her tattoo of my daughter's names on her like inner arm. She got like the heartbeat sign, and she got their names above each part of the heartbeat, and they call it my two heartbeats. And I say, "Oh, when am I gonna get my name on there?" She's like, she looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, look, 20 years, I love you, but that ain't never gonna happen. I was like, yeah, I feel the same way. You know, it's not a disrespect, just like, yo, my mom, and I don't have any tattoos, but my mom and my kids will be the only thing that would ever go on my body permanently as a name.
Yeah, no, like for real though, like never someone else's name that's like not related to you. So, and then top 5 most anticipated games going into 2024. So that Elden Ring DLC.
Facts.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, Rebirth.
For me, Star Wars Outlaws is
Star Wars
Outlaws.
One. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Fancy
Hades.
Hellblade
I was gonna say
2 for me.
Hades 2. Yeah, Hellblade 2 as well. Yeah, Hades 2 definitely.
Avowed.
Avowed. I'm looking forward to that.
Wealth. Then I would also have to throw into the Black Myth Wukong and Space Marine 2.
Oh yeah.
Black Myth Wukong looks amazing. So yeah.
It does.
All right. So El Whito wanted to talk about the fake outrage over The Last of Us 2 factions officially being canceled because we didn't see that coming. We already discussed that at the beginning of the show, so hopefully you enjoyed that segment. And shout out to No Envy Gaming saying top 5 movies of the year.
Oh boy.
So yeah, go ahead and take a moment to think about it, guys. I have mine. So my top 5 movies of the year are Evil Dead Rise, Scream 6, John Wick 4, Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh boy. Okay, I definitely agree with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is definitely one for me.
Yeah.
You know what? Did Puss in Boots come out this year?
I think it did.
Yeah. That movie is awesome. Love that movie. That's 2. Dungeons and Dragons came out this year too, right?
You sure did.
That's 3. Dungeons and Dragons. Scream 6 came out this year as well, right?
Yeah, in March.
All right, so was that 4 now? I feel like probably something smaller that I haven't.
You didn't like Guardians?
Oh yeah, my bad. Guardians 3. Yeah, so that's 5 for me. Yeah, Guardians 3 was awesome. I love that movie. That was really good. So yeah, there was my 3.
For me personally, it will have to be Oppenheimer, Across the Spider-Verse, Dungeons and Dragons, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and John Wick 4.
Oh, John Wick 4 was so fucking good. That's a
Oh,
10 out of
it's
10
so
movie in
good.
my
It's so
opinion.
good.
So-
especially the ending.
Oh, it's so fucking phenomenal.
Wow, yeah. So mine's John Wick 4, Top Gun Maverick, Oppenheimer, Across the Spider-Verse. Ooh. And what? Oh, and Godzilla -1. That movie.
Oh,
was
Godzilla
incredible.
-1 is
That
fucking
movie
awesome.
freaking incredible,
That movie is
bro.
fucking awesome, dude.
It's
Go
so
see Godzilla
good.
-1 if it's still
I
out.
might see
Like,
it next week.
It's
I might see it
so
next week.
good.
So
It just
good,
has
bro.
like it has that human element that's been missing in like the recent Godzilla films that were based over here and such. Like it's just it's so good. And like it doesn't play any games. Like you see Godzilla right away. Like
Yeah,
you
right
know what you're
away.
here for. You know, they know what you're here for.
I have to give an honorary mention to Cocaine Bear.
To what now? Oh, Cocaine Bear? Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even get around to that yet. All right, I think mine would be John Wick 4,
Yes.
Across the Spider-Verse,
Yes.
Top Gun Maverick, and
That movie's so great.
I can't remember the last one. I think did I call it Dungeons and Dragons already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Maverick come out last year? Let me
Scream.
look it up.
No, Maverick came out this year.
Scream 6.
Came out in May, I believe.
Oh yeah, man, that movie was so good. That movie was. That's a great sequel.
So Top Gun
Yeah.
Maverick did come out in 2022. So you guys got to pick another
Oh,
one.
never mind.
Oh, it came out. That's 2022. It felt like it came out this year.
Thank you, Tristan.
Oh man. Okay, I got to pick another one then. What's
pick
another
another
game?
one,
Another movie. That's 2 movies.
Just go Cocaine Bear. Easy.
That was a good movie too.
Scream 6.
Cocaine Bear was not that. Yo, I'm sorry. It was.
We all.
I mean, maybe I
goofy.
would. I did pick Scream 6 would have been in my top. If that, I will
Scream
say
6 is
Scream
fucking
6.
awesome.
was really
I
good.
love Scream 6. Shout out to my Pookie
There's-
Bear Melissa. By the way,
There's another
Slomo,
movie I
real
can't
quick.
remember.
As you guys, I'll let you guys think of it, but real quick. So apparently, Melissa had a meeting with Spyglass.
I saw
where
that. Yeah.
They were like, "So if you apologize and take back what you said, we'll let you come back." And it's like,
The audacity.
how arrogant do you have to be to think that you could publicly fire her and then accuse her of being anti-Semitic? So literally accusing her of being a fucking racist, and then be like, "Well, if you take this back, we'll hire you again." Bitch, you
Like,
need her,
you
not the
are
other way
coming
around.
to me, not me coming to you. I have the leverage here. I'm not apologizing for anything.
Exactly.
So
And she on
how
business.
about you apologize to me, give me a raise, and maybe I'll think about coming back.
Fucking exactly, dude. She's so fucking real. That's mother right there. Okay, so let's go ahead. So shout out to Amon. See, I knew you were a member. He rejoined. He's been a member for 21 months. But shout out to FTW who joined 6 days ago. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to Drav, Starchild Swag, Imar Ben Israel, Damien, Outlaw, Mr. Dolo Gaming, DQ's Blizzards, Tevin, Ronald, Phil, Dealer never called me back. I'm gonna have to go bother him. MJ, Henry, Dirk, King Metrochan, Meat Puppet, Scroat, John the Don, Lord Lorenza Stone, Starbuck, Kenny, DC, Big Daddy, Smitty, S. Whiteo, Sub Negro, Jazzy, Dominic, Duck, Sycamore, Zion, Breesky, Corey, Light Shrife, Pepitio, Nautical, Jet, Envy, Slomo, and Hannibal. Appreciate you guys supporting me in this way. If you want to send in topics for the show and hear our perspectives on different things, it doesn't have to just be gaming, as you guys already have seen. Become a member of the channel. Oh, so I'm sorry, guys. I'm seeing that fucking log from Final Destination 2, and I just got jump scared seeing it on the timeline. But yeah, so
slamming into someone's face in the car.
Yeah, oh god, that's just rough, dude.
That's a group of movies I gotta rewatch. Those movies are good fun.
Sometimes people's integrity is worth more than money, Albert. Like, seriously. Sometimes it's worth more. Plus, they would never give her that amount of money because Spyglass is cheap. They were paid. They didn't even hit the 7 figures mark for their paychecks for Scream 5 and Scream 6, which makes sense because like they weren't super big for those 2 movies, but Jenna, my Pookie Bear, asked for more money, and they were like, "Nar." So, but yeah, I would definitely, some people, especially if I was like already in the industry, that would already mean that I'm already making like thousands of dollars for these roles, right? Like, I don't need to fucking compromise my morals in order to be on a fucking film. Like, just absolutely not. Especially since she already has movies like coming out, you know? She's got like two films um that are coming out. She's got one coming out in January. I will be seated in support, and I will also be seated in support of seeing Jenna's upcoming movie, even though the premise and script is all garbage. But my girl looks good, and I'm gonna I'm gonna go watch it. All right. So anyway, we can just go ahead and leave. So thank you so much for coming on Blade X. Fix that mic, baby. Get a better mic. Please and thank you. We want to hear more of you and your thoughts, because again, we do need a PlayStation guy on here. So
Okay, I will get it started next year.
all right, sounds
sure.
good. Okay, Nautical.
Yo, Gaming 410 everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation, DPS lit with the homie Slow Mo. Check it out on the channel. Great show, and enjoy the weekend that you guys having. Enjoy Christmas. If we don't get a chance to see you before then, because you know anything could happen. And enjoy the games you're playing and have a good weekend.
All right, Slow.
Good show. Enjoy your weekend. Play some games and stop arguing on Twitter.
All right, Singer.
Says the person that argues on Twitter every day.
I also play games though, so.
Yes.
Which means you can do both. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Shout out to chat panel. Great show, as always, and I'll see you later.
All right. Peace, my babes. Thank you guys for hanging out. Damn, we're probably not gonna have a show next week because it's a couple days before
Christmas.
Damn, maybe. I don't know.
Day
It depends.
before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I guess it depends. What's up, Ham? All right, Breesky, what's good? All right, guys. Ripper, sit and watch football. All right, guys. Thanks for coming through. I love you guys so much. So yeah, we probably won't have a stream because like I'm assuming that people have lives. Right. I don't, but you know, I'm assuming other people have things to do. So I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye.